Brian and Allie, we only get so many great days in this life. Soak it up. Enjoy it. This day will give you memories for a lifetime. Not only will you be tied to one another in a permanent way at the end of the ceremony, you will also be more deeply tied to everyone who's here, who celebrates this great day with you. Smile. Breathe. Enjoy. Today is a great day. Alison and Embry, will you have Brian Michael Bush to be your husband, to live together in holy marriage? Will you comfort him, love him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him as long as you both shall live? The appropriate response is, I will.
I will.
Brian Michael Bush, will you have Alison and Embry to be your wife, to live together in holy marriage? Will you love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, and forsaking all others, be faithful to her as long as you both shall live? If so, the appropriate response is, I will.
I will.
With the gravity and beauty of all that this day holds, for Brian and Allie, they will now exchange their vows with one another to be married, to foster love in that marriage, to pursue deep friendship, and commit deeply to care for one another through thick and thin.
In the name of God,
I, Alison and Embry,
I, Brian Michael Bush,
you, Brian Michael Bush,
take you, Alison and Embry,
to be my husband,
to be my wife,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward,
for better and for worse,
for richer and for poorer,
in sickness and in health,
to love and to cherish.
until we are parted by death.
This is my solemn vow.
This is my solemn vow.
Alison and Embry,
Alison and Embry,
with this ring and all that it represents, I marry you.
with this ring and all that it represents, I marry you.
Brian Michael Bush,
Brian Michael Bush,
with this ring and all that it represents, I marry you.
with this ring and all that it represents, I marry you.
And now that Brian and Allie have given themselves to each other by solemn vows and the joining of hands and the giving and receiving of rings, I announce to you that they are husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride. Many people say that their wedding is the best day of their lives. I agree that it is a great day, but I think the best is yet to come. It is my honor and privilege to introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Brian and Alison Brian.
For the last 27 years, she's just been a pleasure to watch her blossom from the little girl to the difficult, demanding, overbearing daughter that she was, and she became this very gorgeous young woman. She's beginning a new life, and she has a new man to look after and protect her. And this is where I'd like to formally welcome Brian into the family. And I know he's going to be a great son-in-law. And even though he's been with us now for about 2 years, we think of him as our son. So Alison and Brian, I know you always have each other. And don't forget, you're always going to have the support of your family and friends, and you got a lot of them. We'll always be there for you. But you won't get rid of us that easy. So, again, thank you.
I've known Allie for almost a decade now, and I'll never forget when we first met. It was our freshman year at Ohio University. We were at a party at the Delta Todd Delta House. We bonded over natural light and keg stands. Eventually, the party started to wind down, and Allie looked at me and said, "You were fake." I knew at that moment we were going to be really good friends. I got a text from her one day asking if I wanted to go on a bar date. Naive 18-year-old Maggie, sure, I love bar dates. I had no idea what she was talking about. Allie explained to me we were meeting one of her best friends from high school, Brian, and then let it slip that they dated in high school. And in classic Allie fashion, well, we're truly in love, but it'll never happen. It took a few years for you guys to get it together and realize how perfect for one another you truly are. But eventually you did, and here we are on your wedding day. If I were asked to describe our relationship, I would have to quote one of our favorite YouTube videos, Jackie and Deborah, and say, she's like my sister. Which means Brian is not like my brother. And I couldn't be more excited.
Allie and I were not always the best of friends. We first met freshman year of college when I wrongfully accused her of swooping in on my quote-unquote new boyfriend. Little did I know the two of them had been friends for years. Over time, we slowly got to know each other better. It was not until after college when I moved into her and Aaron Skinner's tiny little apartment to crash on an air mattress for 9 months that we became incredibly close. In my opinion, if a friendship can survive this awkward time in life, it can survive anything. She finally told me about this guy, Brian. Apparently, Brian was her long-lost love, and this was an old flame that had recently been rekindled. Fast forward a few weeks when Allie decided to bring new guy Brian on a weekend trip with some friends. Brian did not hold back at all and spent the night showing off his dance moves that strongly resembled the opening of Ellen DeGeneres' talk show. I remember after my first impression of Brian saying to my husband Phil, he seems really nice. Something about him is a little feminine, but if Allie likes him, I like him. I feel very lucky that I've gotten to know and understand Brian so well. He is even more weird than my Al. I truly did not know that was possible, but together they are the perfect match. Allie, I read this quote in an article about a year ago, before you were even engaged, and I saved it then for tonight. Stop crying. Some of your closest lifelong friends may not seem like close lifelong friends for the first 5 or 6 years that you know them. Seriously. It takes time to figure out who matters, who listens, who tells the truth, accepts your flaws, who says the right thing at the right time, and who makes sense all around. You, my sweet Allie, are a close lifelong friend, and I could not be more thankful for you.
I'm sure that from the other speeches you guys have gathered that they're both a little weird. But you are now officially married, Allie, to the most ridiculous person that I know I've ever met in my life. But somebody that I'm very, very proud to call my best friend. I'm not really one to tell you about marriage, because I'm not married. But from what I hear, it's not always easy. Things are going to be tough. You guys are going to argue. You're going to fight. But you can't just flip the mattress in order to make it go away. And that's about all I got. I thank you guys for having me. I'm very, very honored to be your best man. I'm very honored to be a part of your wedding. And let's rage.